Hello, my name is Robert Wong, and I am presenting a project for Dr. Tayeb's EC 150 class on cybersecurity. And the project is called DHCP and DNS Spoofing to Redirect Device Internet Traffic. So a little background, DHCP is a protocol used in order to give your computer and other devices that are connected to the internet an IP address, which is how they designate who's communicating. And DNS is how you discover other people's DHC or IP addresses, basically well-known ones for like websites and stuff. And basically a DHCP spoofing attack is where a DHCP request is made. However, there is a person in the middle that intercepts this message and provides a false gateway, a false DNS server, and other things so that this person can intercept all communication and redirect the user to potentially malicious websites. So the motivation and objective of this project is specifically to create a controlled network that'll simulate an attacker and a client. We'll also be utilizing EtherCAT, which is a software that allows the implementation of DHCP and DNS spoofing. We'll also alter the IP address searched for by the client to a false IP address using DNS spoofing. And we'll want to resolve the security issue using something called DHCP snooping. So this implementation is done by using GNS3, which is the network simulator, a VirtualBox virtual machines, which act as the devices. So EtherCAT, the software we're using is on a Kali Linux virtual machine, which is a pen testing tool. And then we have a Windows virtual machine as the client that we're attacking. So here what we can see is that we already have a default gateway 10.1.1.1, which is the router, and then we have the IP address 10.1.1.3, which is communicates on. And for this one, we see that we have the IP address 10.1.1.4. Now, if we start EtherCAT, we can start a DHCP spoofing. Okay, now that's working. What we could do is we can release this IP address, and then we can get a new IP address. As you can see this time, we got the same IP address because it's going to request the same IP address. But this time we got a different default gateway, which is actually the default gateway to the Kali Linux computer. And so if we do ipconfig/all again, we can see that also the DNS server is changed to this. So now as you can see, the DNS spoof plugin is activated. And so what we can do is we can actually go to the folder that holds the configuration for the EtherCAT DNS spoofing. I already added an address from Microsoft.com, which is what we had before. And this address is for the Linux servers. So we can see here that it pinged this address 23.253.180.149. We go back to the top. When we originally pinged www.microsoft.com, it was a different server, 104.85.242.52. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the switch, which I have opened up here. And basically what we can check on the switch is if we type enable and then show IP DHCP snooping, we can see that DHCP snooping is not enabled. On here, what we want to do is we want to edit the gigabit port 00 interface. We want to do DHCP snooping trust so that we can trust it. And then we'll exit. So now that we got it running, we can look at Windows again. And what we can try again is we can try to release the IP address. We're going to see that we get the correct address from the correct router. And now if we try it again, before what we used to get is we used to get it configured to the new router because this was spoofing it. But as you can see, this is no longer able to run it because it's not trusting this source. It's not trusting this source anymore. It is only trusting the one gigabit 00, which is this one. So for the findings, as you can see, EtherCap is simple to use to create a DHCP and a DNS spoof against the user. Broadcasting the DHCP is not a secure message because anybody can find it and respond to it, as we did here. As for authentication, DNS servers aren't authenticated, so we're never 100% sure that it's giving us the right information or that we're at a right DNS server. But a simple mitigation technique, as demonstrated here, is to implement DNS snooping on switches just by enabling the feature. Because it comes with it, it's just not preloaded. This helps demonstrate different aspects of security and how to mitigate different security attacks, as we learned in this class. Thank you.